Wow, this honestly has been the most balanced TFT has been for the duration of the game. Let's take this chance and explore each champion and how we can make the best use of them using the set mechanic Chosen. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another ProGuides TFT video. Today we'll be talking about how each champion is itemized as a Chosen. For 1 cost and 2 costs besides the carry ones, it's more about which items they can carry better with their 4 cost successors, whereas we're going to be going more in depth with the carries in the higher tier units. Before we dive right on in, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Discord community and a new subreddit that is growing really fast. We have you to thank for that, and we want to continue building our community and help you guys be a part of it. Make sure to check the link in the description down below. See you there. 1 cost. 1 cost Chosen are the ones that you'll play early in most of your games. It's strongly advised that you pick the first or second Chosen that you encounter in the shop so as to not fall behind. First up, Garen. He is one of the better ones and is quite good with any tank items that you can find for later use, like Bramble, Dragon's Claw, Zzra, or even Morello. Sunfire works as well, but the value of the item has dropped down quite a bit. Next up is Diana, another one of the better early Chosen. You want Titan's Resolve, Quicksilver, and Gunblade for her, but many other items can work as well. Don't be afraid to use things like Bramble, Dragon's Claw, or even Ionic Spark. Best in slot items are more of an MMORPG thing. In TFT, the items that get you the best result in the moment matter more. Elise is pretty good with any tank items as she can carry them for your later to come frontline. Not the absolute best pick, but she'll definitely be fine as a cultist with those items. Yasuo is one of the best early as well, leading into duelist builds and can use a lot of different stuff. I'll focus on bruisering him up. Hand of Justice, Guardian Angel, Quicksilver, Infinity Edge, and Titan's Resolve are all really good. You only need 1 true DPS item on him, IE or HOJ, and the rest can be defensive. Lysandra uses mana items well as Morello's. She can carry those for future Morganas and the like. Wukong can carry your DPS items for Ashe, Jhin, and so on, and is good in both his Chosen variations. Fiora is an interesting Chosen, and is probably the best with mana items to make use of that mana reduction cost, especially in Enlightened. Maokai is kind of boring. Just give him tank items and let him be on his merry way. Zzra, Sunfire, and Bramble are all good on him. Nami is another one of the carries. She needs Ludens, another Ludens, and then a Quicksilver or a Guardian's Angel. In this meta, GA is probably better. She is not flexible at all, and you 100% need those Ludens. So if you're going to be using Nami, make sure you get them. Nicolai is pretty good early, and she can use any sort of item except tanky ones pretty well, especially the AP and mana ones. Her auto attacks with Sharpshooter can still hurt, so don't underestimate giving her AD stuff. Tahm Kench's Chosen is great, especially Fortune, and you want to give him tank items similar to Maokai. Vayne is pretty cool, and he can play the reroll Vayne that we showcased in the past, but that one needs specific items, including Ginsu's and Hurricane. If you don't want to slam those, you can either carry AD related items or attack speed items aiming at a Jhin, Ashe, Talon, or Aurora carry. Twisted Fate can carry anything, gearing towards more mana and AP items. Especially in his mage form, he can be pretty amazing, bursting whole comps down with some AP. That's it for the 1 cost, moving on to the 2 costs. 2 costs. Pyke is ridiculous. You can't actually make him a carry, but he can sure carry you early. You can give him AP items, AD items, tank items, whatever you want. He can make use of everything, so just think about the comp that you're shaping up to play and make the items for that. Annie is not too great, but having her as a Chosen gears towards a reroll mage comp or maybe a Fortune one. You want tank items on her, and if you have a mage, she'll be an unbreakable wall. Zzra is especially good, taunting people to attack her and fill that mana bar ASAP. Vi is looking up a bit. If you pick her up, make sure to give her some bruiser items like Sunfire, Titans, and the like. Let's be honest, you won't actually be picking up Chosen Vi that often, or even rarer, you won't even itemize her. Still, she armor shreds, so giving her ways to do more damage when the enemy has little to no armor left is a good idea. Aphelios is a strong transitionary Chosen, though he does fall off. You can give him any sort of DPS and attack speed items and he'll perform pretty well for you. Hecarim is one of the favorite early Chosens, as he's almost unkillable with a couple of tank items and a Lulu. Bramble, Dragon's Claw, Titans, Zzra are all good on him. Build these on him to make sure that he tramples the enemies. Janna will blow you all away with mana items and cast that shield non-stop. Blue buff is quite ridiculous on her, especially if you have Enlightened. Jarvan is another one of those iffy Chosen, but if you want him and you itemize him, damage is the way. He can one-shot the backline pretty easily with a couple of DPS items, but he will remain difficult to keep alive. Jax is what Jarvan isn't, a true bruiser. Jax is one of the better Chosen as well, using items like Titans, Brambles, Sunfire, Zzra, and even Locket or Hand of Justice really well, holding up your frontline and buying a lot of time for your backline to do their stuff. Lulu is great if you have a frontliner for her ultimate, which if you play Elderwood or Mage, she will have. Hecarim or Annie with Lulu's ult on them is so tasty. Give her mana and attack speed items and she'll help tide you over to the last game for sure. Blue buff, Ginsu's, or Chalice are all great on her. Teemo is one of the potential carry champions if you get him sharpshooter. You want to build blue buff or Shojin, and with Morello being good, as well as Ziggs and Chalice. You can carry those regardless of whether you go for Teemo reroll comp or not. Silas is a decent early pick, so make sure you pick up some tank items and treat him like a Maokai or Tahm Kench. He can do a good job of carrying frontline items, especially if you have Moonlight and he becomes a 3-star. Thresh is not a great chosen to pick. If you want to itemize him, tank items are the way to go, like Bramble or Zizirod. Zed is not least for being last of the 2 costs. He is an amazing carry, but his item requirements are really strict. Quicksilver, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Hurricane. You can never veer off of Hurricane, especially without the other 2, you will not win too much. Now, 3-cost chosens are rarely picked up, as the game has gotten way more early game focused. However, if you find one, here's how to itemize them. Akali wants what she always wanted, nerfed or not. Blue buff, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Quicksilver or an AP item like Gunblade. Yuumi with blue buff and Chosen just goes around the arena healing everybody. It's actually pretty nuts, and you can give that blue buff to your Yone later. Evelynn wants Hextech Gunblade, but the rest is flexible. She doesn't really need defensive items, but the stats are always welcome. If you don't want to itemize her, she uses all different utility items really well, like Locket, Chalice, or Zeke's. Irelia is really easy to kill, so Redemption is good. She does well with her support or utility items, but she's not really a tank. But you want her in the front line to use her spell. Locket, Zephyr, and possibly Zizirot are all good on her. Jinx is the only great Shojin user in the game right now. Sure, other champions can use Shojin effectively like Azir, but Jinx just takes off with this item. Put in a Quicksilver or GA and some AP or even a blue buff for the perma CC and you are golden. Kindred we talked about in our must plays a lot. If you watch that, you know that she's an excellent Yone item carrier, and she's especially great with Gunblade, blue buff, and any defensive item. Still, you can go even more aggressive with Rabadon's, Luden's, or Jeweled Gauntlet. Veigar has some strict item requirements, or he won't be able to do too much. Double mana items and a Gunblade. One of the mana items has to be Shojin or blue buff, with the latter being preferable. Kalista uses attack speed stuff, Ginsu's, Hurricane, Quicksilver, and she's going to be shredding down those opponents. You can go a little bit more defensive or switch the Quicksilver for a GA, but she will operate the best with these items. Katarina is also fairly inflexible with 2 of her slots. Gunblade and Quicksilver are almost a given, since if she's interrupted, the game's over. Third slot is quite flexible with Titans, Rabadons, and Hand of Justice all being good. Lux is honestly not often chosen. Still, if you do pick her up, she hits pretty hard. So AP and mana items are great. If she can cast a second time, you probably will win the fight. Kennen is interesting if you're playing a full keeper comp and definitely needs his GA. You can itemize him with Morello, Luden's, or Hand of Justice as well, and he uses these items well. If he is transitioner, you can put support items on him as well, like Chalice. Nunu is a tank. Give him tanky items with a preference of Zizirot or Sunfire, since he scales well with HP. Xin Zhao is a sad story. Still, for him to work, Bloodthirster and Tines are required, and the third item being either an attack speed item or something that can further increase his tankiness until he becomes tanky through his spell. That's gonna be it for the 3 costs as well. Unless it's your carry, you don't often see 3 cost chosens anymore, but I am sure that you can make them work if you want. Let's move on to the real beef, the 4 cost chosens, which will most likely be your final ones and the most important to be itemized. 4 cost. Riven is one of the more interesting chosen that you can find and works amazingly well with Ionic Spark and Bramble or Dragonclaw. The third item is best to be a GA, but Quicksilver will do, or even blue buff in rare cases. Ahri is not too great of a chosen after all the nerfs. If you really want to play her, Guardian Angel and Jeweled Gauntlet are important, and the third item can be another Jeweled Gauntlet, a Rabadon's, or a mana item. Sejuani Chosen would probably be seen in a Fortune comp only, and she really likes Morello, Brambles, and Dragonclaw. Sunfire, if you don't have Morello, is also okay. Morgana just needs Morello. That's it. No joke. We've said it before, she is a different type of champion with Morello, and any other item that you get on her is just the icing on the cake. If you like icing, then mana items, especially blue buff, are great. Aatrox uses the same items as Riven, sans the blue buff, but overall not a really great pick as a chosen. Shen is one of the better non-carry chosen and uses all tank items really well, getting extra value with that juicy shield of his. And itemized chosen Shen will be tough to bring down for a few comps, especially earlier on into the late game. Ashe is love, Ashe is life. We went over her in the last video and nothing's changed. Give her Infinity Edge, Giant Slayer, and Guardian Angel, with Last Whisper coming in if you haven't found a third BF sword. Ginsu's is also acceptable. Jhin is pretty much the same as Ashe, with the caveat that Ginsu's is not particularly great on him. If you really have too many BF swords or you got the full item, Deathblade is certainly not terrible on him. Cassiopeia is one of the best Chalice users out there, and Zizirot is also great on her. She's an amazing chosen and can carry your Dusk comp pretty well. Talon is not the best right now, sadly, but if you want to play him so badly, just give him AD items like IE, Last Whisper, and Guardian's Angel. Hand of Justice is not bad on him to help him heal up, but he's just not what he once was. Warwick is a great chosen, either in a Divine or a Hunter comp. He needs Quicksilver for sure, and then Hurricane and Deathblade or Hand of Justice. He can be quite flexible, but these items synergize well with his abilities. That's gonna be it for the 4 costs. Make sure you use the items that you saw in our tier list as well. And now you'll know what champions they will go on once you get those 4 costs chosen or not. Let's go ahead and move on to the legendaries. Legendaries. For these guys and gals, we won't talk about the chosens as much as plain vanilla legendaries, since it's quite rare that you get them as chosen. Azir is great with attack speed, he doesn't really need items but scales quite well with them, with Ginsu's being the absolute best buy for him. Another good item includes Shojin, Blue Buff, or Ludens. Ezreal is great with many mana items that will allow him to cast faster. As such, Chalice and Ziggs are amazing on him, and so is Blue Buff of course. Yone is a Gunblade, Blue Buff, Guardian Angel enthusiast, but he will work with other items as well. He just needs to cast really fast, preferably heal up and have some defense. For example, building Hand of Justice, Rabadons, and Brambles on him is not a bad idea at all. Lilia is another one of those that doesn't really need items, but she will work quite well with mana items and support items like Chalice or Ziggs. All you want to do for her is have that spell off, and then she did her job. Kayn likes his damage nice and hot. Still, Blue Kayn does enough damage on his own, so Hand of Justice, Gunblade, and any defensive items are great on him. You can build full DPS if you prefer to, but one unlucky hit can stop his rampaging around. Lee Sin just wants to kick people, a lot, so give him anything that uses Tear as a component. Since you're getting him in the late game, you are probably getting the full item carousels. If you get mana items from there, Lee Sin likes it. Blue Buff, Shojin are great. Set is a DPS champion now. Don't be fooled by his buff exterior, this guy is a mage. Interestingly, his best item is Elderwood Spatula, but Ionic Spark, Rabadon's Jeweled Gauntlet, and Hand of Justice are the best items after that. Zillion's best item is a Mage Spatula. Barring that weird situation, mana items and support items are what's best. A Chalice Zillion will cast faster, bring people back with more HP and buff his allies. Zillion is quite literally a ticking time bomb. Now, go on out there and climb that ladder. As always, we love your feedback and continue to bear in mind when we create our videos. Hit us in the comments with your thoughts about our ratings. Again, my name has been Nathan Ng. We really like interacting with our audience and hearing your opinions. With that all being said, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.